Good evening everybody, Metalhead here. Hope you're doing well. Coming to you from the famous 94 to Piccadilly Circus bus in London. Yes, that's correct. So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna revisit a video I made 5 years ago where I explain where the Queensryche recorded the first album, The Warning. Now, it's come out 40 years since that album was recorded, as it came out like 1984. And so I had a friend of mine today message me out of the blue. His name's Corey, and he's a Seattle local, or from the state of Washington. He's been a fan of Queensryche since like day one. Seen them many times, quite close to the band. And so he said to me, "Man, I would like you to go to this location in West London and yeah, just take a photograph of the house the guys in Queensryche stayed in." So according to my friend's message, he said it's 22 Pembridge Crescent. He said, "Where Queensryche lived for a while recording The Warning. If you have time to see it, I'd love to see it, thanks." So I asked him, well, how did you know where it was? And he basically says he found it off like a Headbangers Ball episode, which I'm gonna show you right now.
So now with all these flats, do you think they'll go down the street? Will they go down the street? Yeah, right?
Welcome back to the Headbangers Ball, beating the Empire with Queensryche, and right here, of course, is Allison Smith, lucky winner, and her friend Heather, who was lucky because she got to go with Allison and Hank, something like that. Anyways, we're standing in front of quite an interesting place. This is where you guys stayed when you were recording the Warning album, right? Yes. What is it? 22 Pembridge Crescent. This is it.
Yeah. So, a typical white building in West London where Queensryche lived while recording The Warning. Quite impressive, for an American band from Seattle, the crafters and creators of prog metal, to come to London and record one of the, I'd say one of the earliest diamond albums, because The Warning was a lot better than Rage for Order, but Rage for Order was still good. But this is just way before Operation Mindcrime. This is like the golden era of prog metal. Even before Dream Theater were born. Dream Theater weren't created until 1985. Fate's Warning were already created at the same time. Yeah. So, just on the bus right now, heading out there in the rain. Martin Metalhead endures the worst type of weather conditions to show you guys the best. Please don't see John West. Alright, I did a vlog in this area, almost 5 years ago. Because I believe that Queensryche, they recorded their first full-length album, The Warning, in 4 different studios. It wasn't just Abbey Road, but there was a studio in Angel that I visited, even though it's no longer a studio. And there were some locations in North London, but today we're going to see the place in Notting Hill that Queensryche lived in through the recording of The Warning. Just got off the bus, the 97, and I'm gonna go around this corner because we'll be in walking distance. Alright, we're looking for number 22 Pembridge Crescent. These are what the typical houses in this part of London live by, like 2 pillars, white or cream. They can be differently coloured the further north you go. I always tend to be reminded how Notting Hill reminds me of Bull Cup, same type of colour scheme, multicolored houses. I mean, these kind of houses, right, I reckon that's probably set you back at least £1 million. Notting Hill's always been a posh place to live, quite an iconic part of London, especially since they made that movie Notting Hill, which I have never ever watched in my entire life. Like, the crazy thing about tourism in Notting Hill is that everybody tries to find that one bookshop or that one apartment from the movie Notting Hill, but they end up going to the wrong locations because of misguided facts from online. I mean, when you come to think about it, I reckon the guys in Queensryche, they were probably paying about, what, 300-ish, 400-ish pounds sterling a month to rent in this part of London 40 years ago. I mean, if my rent next month, it goes up to 600 quid in London, that's like the most I've ever paid for rent in the world. I reckon rent in Notting Hill would have been at least 600 by what? In the 90s, in the 80s? Yeah. I never really saw myself like moving to London, but I eventually did, even though I was all for Birmingham. But then over time, something you like, it becomes something you dislike. So this is the street we want. We need number 22. That's 1 Pembridge Crescent. So 22, 28, 26, has to be 24. No, that's 26. That is 24, I believe. No, oh wait, 25. I used to think that it would be going, oh, so 25. That has to be 24, I guess. 23. Ah, yes, getting close. And here it is, number 22. Wow. This is the beautiful house the guys in Queensryche called home when they made the warning back in 1984. That building right there, a bit of progressive rock history for you. I had no idea that Queensryche lived in this part of London, but I thank you guys dearly who did Headbangers Ball for interviewing. It was like 1991, they were interviewing some Queensryche fans of the band at here, and they basically said, oh, you guys recorded the warning here in London, that's where I lived. So there it is. So hi to my mates, Corey and Arthur Gonzalez, fellow Rikers, and all the Queensryche fans around the world, especially to my buddies in Australia. Bit of history for you there. Martin the Metalhead coming to you from London. Former residents of Queensryche. Over and out. Everyone's going to work at what? 9:30 in the morning. Okay.